Today is Maundy Thursday, so I thought it would be good to say something about what we remember on this day. First of all, the name Maundy Thursday in some ways is a bit strange. It actually comes from the Latin word mandatum, which means commandment, as many of you will remember from school Latin. And in the Last Supper, Jesus said, "I give you a new commandment, mandatum novum, that you love one another as I have loved you." We might ask, first of all, what was new about this? The Old Testament, in Leviticus chapter 19, verse 18, had already told the people that they should love their neighbour. Love your neighbour as yourself. So the new part, of course, is love one another as I have loved you. How did Jesus love? Completely. As far as death, in fact. In a life and love of complete and utter service. And that's one of the things that we remember, because at that Last Supper, what happened? Well, first of all, we remember the institution of the Eucharist, the first Mass, if you like, when he took the bread and the wine and he gave it a new meaning as his body and his blood. Take it and eat it. This is my body. This is my blood, which is shed for you. My body, which is given for you. Another part of that, love one another as I have loved you. It's also about the institution of the priesthood, because he said, "Do this in memory of me." And then what did he do? At the end of the meal, he got down on his knees and he washed the feet of his disciples. It's worth thinking for a moment about those feet. Nowadays, feet tend to be clean, certainly in the Western world. They tend to be fairly well cared for. In the first century, of course, people wore sandals, they didn't wear socks, and so those feet got dirty, dusty, sweaty, and so on. That's why foot washing was actually a task normally reserved to the lowest form of slave in any given household. So what's he saying? He's saying that you should serve one another. Now, of course, sometimes that might involve literally washing someone's feet. We think, for example, of health professionals, parents, carers. But for most of us, it means looking after one another. It means serving one another. And of course, service, like love, is one of those things where the more you give, the more you get back. And the last thing that we remember on Maundy Thursday is the agony in the Garden of Gethsemane and then the arrest. You'll remember that Jesus knows what is coming. He prays. He even says, "Father, if it's possible, let this pass me by. But not my will be done, but yours." And so he goes through with it. He goes through with the trial, with the crucifixion. He could have run away. He could have said, "Enough is enough, I'm going." But he didn't. Of course, he was the Son of God. He knew this was his destiny. He knew that it was God's will that he die to save mankind. And that, of course, is what we will remember in a very particular way tomorrow. But it's a reminder for us too that when trials come our way, Jesus was there first. Jesus has gone where we also follow. And so perhaps at times of suffering, times of anguish, we might remember that he too experienced that suffering. He too experienced anguish. So Maundy Thursday is a day which is full of imagery, full of different ideas. So you might remember the new commandment, love one another as I have loved you. The institution of the Eucharist, the institution of the Mass, the institution of the priesthood. And so today we might pray especially that when we are able to receive communion once again and go to Mass once again, perhaps we'll do so with a special fervour, that we'll make a very good spiritual communion. And pray too for vocations to the priesthood and to the religious life, that there will always be people ready and willing to provide us with those sacraments and to serve the Church and her people. So from all of us at Downside, we hope you have a happy and holy Maundy Thursday and indeed all of the Triduum. And we'll be putting up various resources over the course of the weekend, so keep an eye on our website, the homilies and podcasts part, but also all our social media, because you'll find all the details there. Take care and God bless.